All right, hello guys and girls. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you. Hopefully we can see you guys in future videos. For the people who are not here for the first time, my OGs and new subscribers, thank you guys so much for jumping on the bandwagon. Tell all your friends, let everybody know. Right, so for anybody who's here, who's new, and this is your first time here, we are we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So consider subscribing, jump on the bandwagon, get here early. And we got a lot of cool content planned for this spring and this summer. So I hope to see you guys in all the other future videos. So please join in, come on in. Let's get all cozied up. Let's snug into this and let's go for our little adventure, okay? So today we just want to give you guys a little bit of an update about what's going on with the Chevy Silverado and what's going on with our latest Ford Cruisin' Fusion build. So what I want to say first is that you guys might be aware from like maybe the last video or maybe not, but the Ford Fusion was in a little fender bender. It was in a little hit and run incident, right? And I started thinking, right, if you guys go back to the last update video of the Silverado was also in a hit and run situation. It was hitting the headlight. And then when I keep thinking back, right, third note, when I was 17, my body was in a hit and run, which is crazy to me. So for anybody who's watching this from my old high school days or whatever, you guys know this, which is crazy because I was hit by a Dodge minivan and it just happens to be ironic with the name. But the old lady rolled down the window, said I ran into the front of her car, and then she drove away. So I think that constitutes as a hit and run situation, but it did really mess up her car. Anywho, me, the truck, and the car all have that in common, which is pretty crazy. But anyway, on with the show. So guys, I installed wider and carbon fiber style fenders, which I think really should have went on the car originally, but you know, you live and you learn. So these fenders required a little bit of tweaking and most likely need a gasket of sorts like the other ones did, but they do look good. That passenger side fender is the fender that actually got busted up in a little hit and run situation. But you know what? I think these new carbon fiber style fenders really pulled it together. If you guys want these same style fenders, they are bigger than the original ones that, you know, I think a lot of people are kind of nervous they're putting the 50 mils on. These are the bigger ones. So if you guys look at these and you're like, I kind of like these, a link is in the description, go ahead and get that. So I just went ahead and I self-tapped them in, but I'm kind of up in the air if I want to go through with riveting, you know, the whole thing together, going through the whole riveting process again, essentially. But I do have the rivets and I have the tools, but time, my friends, is not always on our side. So I like to see kind of how I feel about this whole situation with these bigger fenders and everything else, and I will most likely go ahead and rivet them up and make them all nice. But that's basically the only thing we've added now to the Ford Fusion. It's looking good, it's looking solid, so let's move on to the Chevy. Now, the Chevy is holding strong, but our biggest issue lays in the rear end of this monster. So I noticed that my rear differential yoke, it was all cracked and it was falling apart, so I just took this opportunity to remove the drive shaft and install a new U-joint. And for those of you who are interested in this U-joint, the link is also in the description for the one that you need, because I went the Amazon route like all of you guys might do, and I ended up taking the U-joint then to AutoZone because the Amazon one didn't fit, which everyone said it fit. And then I went to Amazon and I had to go through one crappy manager who pawned me off essentially to an older, like, retired employee. So he brought out like 5 U-joints that he said would work. I showed him the one on the phone that I needed. I brought the old one with me. And sure enough, the one that I had on my phone, the one I thought I needed, matched perfectly with the old one. So anyway, sometimes you get lucky. So I took that new U-joint, right? I installed a redneck style in the backyard, right? And we went on to the rear yoke. So I installed a Dorman yoke that I got on Amazon because it's about 80 some dollars. So the link is in the description for that. But as I installed it, for some reason, I should have checked before, but there was some leaking that almost immediately started once I installed that yoke. Turns out that a lot of the seals were cracked on that thing, so I had to take it out and had to do the process over. Went to AutoZone, got a Dorman yoke, and I had one of my mechanical buddies come over just to make sure that I wasn't cutting any corners and or botching out the job, and it looked well. But guess what? It still leaks. Real little leak, but it still leaks. So now I went ahead and tried to troubleshoot a little bit. Got myself a little JB weld that I had in the basement, and I glopped that sucker on there, hoping that it would just seal up any little gap or little crevice that might be, you know, the issue with this new seal that's associated with this yoke. It's still leaking a little bit, so I had to essentially figure out how we're gonna fill this gap. I went back to the hardware store, got ourselves some more JB weld, filled in the gap here that I thought that might have been causing my issue, and we're just gonna have to let it sit now. So it's been sitting now for about 3 or 4 days. We're just gonna keep letting this thing cure, and then hopefully we have no leaks because we're running out of gear oil. We're running out of ways to stop the leak without replacing the whole rusty old rear end. So hopefully this is our Band-Aid, possibly permanent fix this situation. So anyway, I added the JB weld. Now we gotta pray it does the job, because I am not gonna replace this rear end quite yet until we can afford it, essentially, in which case we're gonna go ahead and replace maybe the bed, the leaf springs, and other things that are just like rusting out underneath this truck. But anyway, that is where we are at. And hopefully this does the trick. We'll give you guys an update in the next video if the JB weld gave us a JB weld cure to our situation. And with that, let's key you guys back to where I am right now in the studio, and we're gonna take this sucker home. Let's go. All right, guys and girls, so that's all she wrote. Okay, so we gotta just hope that this JB weld is gonna do the trick. I will give you guys an update of that in the next video, but the next video is not gonna be about updates of the truck or the car. It's gonna be about tools, essentially tools on a budget, and the tools that I use and I think that you might be able to use if you're just gonna go ahead and start doing some projects that are gonna involve, you know, doing something mechanical, whether you're working on lawnmowers or motorcycles, or in our case, cars and trucks. I think they're gonna be essential for you, and they're gonna help you get through and do the trick when you're in a bind for sure. So that is what's gonna be our next video, so stay tuned for that one. We have a lot of projects going around this house right now. Today, I'm gonna finish working on my friend's daughter's four-wheeler, just working on some handlebars, and we just got a few other things planned. So we have a lot of content coming. We have a good stuff coming for the spring and for the summer. And with that, guys, I just want to say thanks for coming for this little update. If you guys were smirking, maybe you laughed a little bit, maybe you thought something was entertaining, go ahead and subscribe. It's not gonna hurt anybody. And if you guys made it through this entire video and you're not an OG or an already subscribed awesome person, what are you waiting for? Join the team. Let's go. Join the bandwagon. Here we go. Here we go. We got some good stuff coming. And I hope to see you guys all in the next video. So we will see you guys soon. Have a great day. See you.